All right, so here we are at race two at Sebring. You get two qualifying laps to set your fastest lap, which determines the position you're going to be in. My first lap, I set a 2:05.1, which was pretty good for me. Um, but that put me in 12th position because my second qualifying lap was going to be better. I was going to be in the 2:04s, but then I had an off track in the almost final turn, kind of screwing that up. So here I am, starting in 12th position on the right hand side of the track. I want to be towards the inside of the track when the race reaches the first turn, because if people are going to have accidents, they tend to swing out wide and have that accident, or once they begin crashing, they slide out. So if you can be towards the inside, that's the better bet. So I get a great launch. I've been practicing my clutch launches here. I get a great launch. I had already planned that if I got a good launch, I was going to slip into the middle and then try to slip to the left. I clear the guy on my left, and I get a pretty decent start here. Now again, everybody's on cold tires. So you got to watch your turning radius here. I've got people on my right. I'm watching what's happening. Entering the first turn, I see a little bit of pushing going on, jostling. I squeeze myself in to this position, which I think I'm in about 6th place at the moment. 10th place. Now 9th place because that individual crashed out, but I get a better launch than number 8 down the straight here. But going to go ahead and let him slot in front of me because I know going into this turn everybody has cold tires, and I think I can take him on the inside. I'm unable to do that. That one driver in 13 passes me, and now we are slotted into 10th place with somebody directly on my left. But I am kind of determined not to just give it up easily. So I don't just give it up, but he does take it. So good pass on his part. And yeah, but I'm able to get a better launch there and retake the position going into kind of the back part of the track here. So I've got a good leap on him, about half a second ahead of him. I'll keep everything in the first person view until we get to the second lap. This is a tricky corner. Again, I've talked about this before. If you overexert yourself there, you slide out like this guy did just there. So as a result, I'm able to get a jump on that driver, and then on number 13 here, I have a better pace down the straight. I side draft off of him a little bit and head into the final turn here, which is this big, long, sweeping turn. He takes it back, doing much better than I do. And that's the turn that'll get you. That's the turn that'll get you every time if you're not careful, just because of the uneven surfaces in the track. So entering lap 2, I'm in 8th position, feeling pretty good about how things have gone so far. Tires have warmed up a bit, so I can push a little bit harder, but still not push entirely. One driver's gone off there, hitting the wall, and I've talked about that turn again. If you're not careful, you'll slam into the wall. That's what he did. That puts me up into 7th position. This driver loses control. I now take 6th position, and I'm driving fairly aggressively. I mean, my objective here is no longer safety rating. I still want to drive a safe race. Getting to the end of the race is half the battle sometimes, but I am willing to defend a bit, and I am willing to be aggressive. So I'm trying to catch up to Bernard in front of me. He clearly has, he's faster. Sang Lee behind me, I think, oh boy, he's quite close, and I'm going to have a hard time holding him off. But let's keep pushing. So again, only second lap of 13 laps. There's a long race to go. Let's see what happens, but I'm feeling pretty good about how I've done so far. And yeah. All right, so here we come back into the back half of the track again.
Probably why you're already missing a bumper, Andrew. Maybe time
Yeah,
to
we
slow
start
down.
to hear this guy talking here is going to complain about somebody around him had crashed into him and took him out, so you'll hear more from him. I should have muted the voices before going into this. All right, going into the kind of final back straight here, get a good run out of this, and open up my distance to Sang Lee behind me to a full second. You see behind him, one individual, Alejandro, crashed into the wall. So now, even if Sangli were to pass me, there's 4.5 seconds behind me to the next driver. So I'm feeling fairly comfortable. And this is my problem. This is my problem in racing. I need to not feel comfortable. I need to continue to push. And what happens is I get in this situation where I'm holding off Sangli behind me. It's still close. Like, there's areas of the track he's faster than I am.
It said 0, X-Bar. Are you okay?
But I've got to stop sitting into a comfort zone and continue to push. But again, there's this fine line between pushing beyond what you're capable of and then sending your car off into the ditch. So I think that right there got me a 1x penalty for an off track. So I'm pretty determined to just keep my lines clean here. I get good exit here. Sangli's closed up the gap a little bit, but I'm able to open it right back up to over 1 second. And again, settling in. Bernardo in front of me is clearly a little bit faster than I am, but I'm trying to watch where he is braking and see what turns he is taking, and hopefully I can catch up to him. Where I'm really struggling to maintain my lead is kind of in the final turn and the first turn. That's where I think I'm losing the majority of my time. I've opened up a 1.5 second gap to Sangli now, and I see that and I'm feeling pretty good about that because I know if I'm able to just continue to maintain that distance from him, listen, I would be happy to end this race in 6th position based on the aggressive driving I've just done. So get a good exit here. Sangli's still 1.5 seconds behind me, and behind him, Bruno 3.2. So he's catching up to Sang and potentially myself. Again, this turn, I've tried a couple different ways to approach it. You can see the car just bounce tremendously, and behind me, Sangli loses control, and Bruno's able to get ahead of him as a result. Sangli into the wall. Bruno's 2.7 seconds behind me, so he has gained some time on me. In front of me comes Alejandro out of the pits after you saw him hit the wall earlier. And so he has a blue flag, but he's a pretty quick driver in general. I'm hoping to catch up to him and just have him get out of my way, because I really want to keep Bruno behind me, who's now a second and a half behind me. And I'm realizing, okay, he is really cooking and catching up to me. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold him off. Certainly I'm not going to go super defensive at this point in the race because we're only on lap 4 of 13. And it's just kind of ridiculous to hold somebody up for that amount of time when they are clearly faster than you. He's now half a second to me. So he's gained almost a second there. I don't want to continue to hold him up when he has clearly faster speed than I do. Again, coming into the back part.
I'll give you plenty of room.
You hear me tell Bruno I'm going to give him plenty of room. Still going to make him work for it, but I'm going to give him room once he gets up on me. And he is going to get up on me, and I'm going to let him go down the straight here and just kind of take it. Actually, don't mean to kind of drift towards him there, so I correct myself. Head back to the edge, but I'm going to let him take this run. Now, in iRacing, somebody with a blue flag doesn't necessarily have to pull over and let you pass. You still have to work to get past them, but it does flag them and tell them they should understand that somebody behind them is on a faster lap or faster pace. But Alejandro's clearly faster than I am. I think he just had a bad decision, slid off the track there earlier. So as I'm behind these two, you can see that behind me, Stefan is creeping up on me in the pink Porsche there. And so I recognize I'm in danger here again. But here I open up a 1.1 second lead to him, so I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe not. Maybe I've got some opportunity to hold him up. I'm still less than a second to Bruno in front of me, who's being held up by Alejandro. And this is the problem with somebody with a blue flag. He probably should be getting out of the way of Bruno because Bruno has more pace than him. But he's kind of holding Bruno up here, which in turn is kind of holding me up. Stefan's still a second behind me, a little over a second behind me. But I'm falling back from Bruno as well. You'll notice one of the things I'm now not saying as often as I used to in these races is, well, I'm hoping these guys in front of me have an accident. I don't really think a whole lot about that any longer because I think I've gotten comfortable enough with my pace that, you know, I'm racing as opposed to just hoping the people in front of me crash out. Stefan's within a second behind me. Bruno is going to pass Alejandro here. At least I think he does. Nope, still slots in behind him. But you can see Stefan is closing in on me pretty quickly. He's less than half a second in front of me now, or behind me now. Here's my view in front of me. He's watching these two. Stefan gets a much better run out of that corner than I did. Again, that corner and the one prior to it are the ones that are slowing me down the most. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of practicing there. But I see Stefan there, telling him I'm going to give him plenty of room down this straightaway so he can take it. Again, don't want to hold up somebody faster than I am. I slot in behind Stefan. And hopefully just use him to draft off him for a while.
You keep blowing braking zones like you did back there.
This is, you can hear the guy complaining. I think that's a bit behind me.
Jesus Christ, I hate some of
So I'm hoping to draft off of Stefan here for a bit. I'm half a second behind him, and I want to make sure he keeps me ahead of Matthew.
Crazy.
Meant to turn off the voice channel. Next time I'll do that before I start recording. But here we are on lap 6. This is about to enter lap 7, which will be effectively the halfway mark. And boy, it's funny. I remember when I was racing this and I hit lap 5, I thought, you know, oh my God, I've still got so far to go. And it felt like I had been racing forever because it was so intense initially. So you can see I end up braking in straight lines here, curving in, hit that bounce, and then accelerate straight towards the wall where it's smoother and I can straighten myself out into the straightaway. However, behind me, Matthew is 1.3, 1.4 seconds behind me. This is the other turn I'm talking about that slows me down considerably. I should have took this a little closer to the wall there. But man, if you get that wrong, you're done for with the bouncing and the sliding. And it's kind of a blind corner. It's a corner that as you hit it, you can't really see where the exit is until you kind of get 75% of the way through it. Still holding Matthew behind me. Stefan has gained an entire another second on me. So clearly he was the faster driver and I was right to let him through at that point. My last race I took an off-track penalty here, so I'm always cautious of that now. Holding off Matthew behind me, who's still 1.4 seconds behind me. The race is in its 7th lap. I am in 8th position at this moment and hoping to maintain that through the rest of the race. I started in 12th place. Could have took that a little more aggressively, which would have got me onto the edge of the track there. But still, Matthew's 1.8 seconds behind me now. This is a tricky corner too, but I think I've got that pretty well nailed. Still holding Matthew back at about 1.8 seconds. But I've gained on Stephen. I'm now down to 1.1 second on him, so I'm thinking, oh, 1 second. Now maybe there's an opportunity to take that position back from Stephen if something's going on. And that ends lap 7. Going into lap 8 of 13. Straight away here, you can see Matthew 1.4 seconds behind me. I'm about a second to Stephen. And at this point, I am noticing that the tires are beginning to lose grip a little bit. But I should also mention that last lap, I set a 2:04. Okay, let me back that up, because this is where everything goes a little bit wrong for me. And there wasn't much I could do. I want you to see this from several positions. Coming back onto the track, he loses grip again, slides in front of me. I should have swung to the left, but that allows Matthew to get ahead of me and allows Jesse to catch up to me as well. So unfortunately, I also pick up a 4x penalty for that. Jesse's now catching up to me. And yeah, and so unfortunately, that kind of mistake on his part. If I'd cut to the left, I think I maybe could have avoided him, but you know, it slid out right in front of me. I wasn't quite ready for it. Here comes Jesse, just flying up on me. He's 0.2 of a second behind me. My tires are starting to not have the grip they've had before. What I meant to mention was the lap before this, I did hit a 2:04.064, which is my fastest lap ever on this track. So I am getting faster, and the practice is paying off. Again, Jesse here's really fast. I'm in 8th place still, but I'm about to probably, at least I'm thinking in my head, I am about to be in 9th place. This is a great maneuver by him, like just right on me, trailing right behind me, but loses a little bit of grip, hits the side there that slows him down considerably. So now I open up that gap to about 0.9 of a second. I really thought he was going to pass me down this straightaway. Now he's a second behind. The cones being knocked off there threw me off a little bit. In that case, I sometimes use them for a marker, and I maybe shouldn't since they are movable. Jesse's a second behind me. Matthew is a second ahead of me. So I'm kind of squeezed behind them. You can see Jesse gaining on me here. This is the corner I'm talking about. Like, I lost a lot of time to him there. He got 0.6 on me just in that turn. I tell him, hey, I'm going to let you by. I'm going to give you plenty of room when you get up on me. I'm waiting for a straightaway to let him pass me safely. And we're coming up to it now. You can also see he's bouncing a little off the road there. I'm a little concerned that that's going to be a problem. I slide over to the left thinking he's going to pass me on the inside. And sure enough, I brake just a little bit early to go ahead and give him that position. This is one of the, I think I gave up 2 or 3 positions.
You were faster than that.
In the race, like intentionally.
Which team that?
Now I've got Rodolfo behind me, and he is 6.3 seconds behind me. So I'm thinking, okay, that's quite a bit. You can see my tires there. That's the first time I really realized, whoa, my tires do not have the grip they had. So I'm going to have to shift to a little more cautious driving mode. And now Rodolfo's 5.5 seconds behind me. I lost a full second because of that mistake. I can feel the car sliding. It should be a little tighter than it is. But here we are on lap 9 with 10, 11, 12, and 13 to go. So 4 laps to go once I complete this. and I feel that the tires are definitely giving. Rodolfo's 5 seconds behind me at this point, but he is closing the gap a little bit. You can see them way back there. Again, this turn, the bane of my existence. I've got to get better at it. I feel like I've gotten a bit better at it, but there's probably a better line I can take. There's clearly a better line I can take because Jesse in front of me is able to push through that a lot faster. You see that now in front of me is Jesse, and behind me James, who has a blue flag, pulled over and kind of let him go by. But James is able to actually keep up with me pretty aggressively. And I'm fine if he wants to pass me and has the speed to pass me. I have no problem letting him go past me. What I am concerned about is giving up a position to him and then bringing myself into Rodolfo's clutches. So you can see Rodolfo there behind James. James in the yellow car. Lap 10. And if anything, I'm hoping maybe James, because of the situation, Rodolfo, as he catches up to him, is going to have to figure a way past him. But unfortunately, James is a much more polite driver than that. And when Rodolfo does catch up to him, he is going to pull over and let him by smoothly, which is fair. But I was kind of hoping he would block a little bit longer than he did. Rodolfo now 3.5 seconds behind me, going into the back part of the course here. The tricky third, I always think of this as third gear turn, but that is turn 15 and then 16 here. Get a good exit out of that. Opening up to James about a second, 1.2 now, so that's pretty good. Rodolfo 3.5 seconds behind me. So, okay. The question is, for 3 laps, can I not let him gain a second a lap? You see that James behind me swings way wide on that turn, taking out the cones. I open up 1.6 to him. Rodolfo's still 3.5 seconds behind me, but catching up to James. Yeah, this is where I could definitely, this is where a lot of accidents happen as your tires are starting to go. Here too, as we saw, this is where I got in the accident because the guy spun out in front of me. So again, maintain my braking lines, adjust them a little bit for the degrading tires, but do what you can. And I start looking at Bernardo ahead, 2.5 seconds ahead of me, still a ways, but I can see him. But I'm thinking, well, can I maybe just focus on trying to catch up to Bernardo, which keeps me out of the reach of Rodolfo behind me. Rodolfo's 3.5 seconds behind me. Still, James 1 second behind me. But there's no way I'm catching up to Bernardo. He's 3 seconds now ahead of me. Just a faster driver than I am. I'm going to also have to learn how to, as I'm thinking about this here, how to maintain my tires a little bit, how to protect my tires a little bit. You can see Alejandro up ahead here. He has a blue flag. Good exit for me out of here. James is a second behind me. Rodolfo's still 3.5 seconds. So although James is closed into me a little bit, Rodolfo's still staying back 3.5 seconds. But here I come, and I'm going to show you this from first-person perspective. So I straighten, brake, straighten, let the bouncing happen, now accelerate towards the wall. Alejandro goes into the pits. And this, James is 0.5 seconds behind me at this point. So he has gained on me a little bit. Rodolfo's now 2.7 behind me. So he has gained a second there as well. So that's where I'm losing time. I'm losing time most especially in turn 1. So I'll need to practice there a little bit as well. Maybe I'll talk to my coach about that. Now there behind you see James pull over, let Rodolfo pass. Really great move on his part. Fair move. Rodolfo's now 1.7 seconds behind me. So I've lost a full 2 seconds. I was holding him off 2 seconds and thinking, oh, I'm doing great. And now all of a sudden he's cut loose, and here he comes. I'm currently in 9th position. He's 1.7 behind me. And, you know, I'm on lap 12. Halfway through the track at this point, so a lap and a half to go. Under a white flag at this point. Well, soon. Under the white flag once I pass the start-finish line. But you can see Rodolfo 1.6 seconds behind me. I know where my slow points are. My slow points are turn 17 and turn 1. So, if I can manage that and hold off Rodolfo for one more lap at that point, I'll be in good shape. He's 1.3 behind me. I'm 3.9 to Bernardo in front of me. But here's the thing. This is the last lap. I am intending to defend my position at this point. Normally, you know, I want to just get to the end of the race. I want to, you know, be careful and cautious. But this is the last lap. This is me determined to hold on to this position and not give it up. He's within a second. We've got an entire lap to go. This is where I tend to lose a lot of time. But catching up to somebody and passing somebody are two different things. Rodolfo right on me. 0.3 of a second behind me. He's looking strong. I'm heading into these corners, and I'm determined to block if I need to. Fairly. James behind him just slid off the road into the wall, which doesn't matter. He's under the blue flag. I mean, giving this position away to Rodolfo puts me in 10th. You see, he tries to go to the inside here, but I'm not going to allow the dive. And now I'm thinking, I got to just hold him off for a little bit longer. He's 0.3 behind me still. Pushing really hard, trying to get past me. I can feel my tires going. He's about half a second behind me at this point. Half a second to 0.3 each turn. So I'm thinking, uh-oh, here we come. If we get to the straightaway, which we're about to, and he's trying to hold his grip here till we get to that straightaway, he is going to have a run on me, and there's going to be nothing I can do about it. So here we go into turn 16. I hit it very well. He slides wide, hitting the grass, and I know that's that. He's now almost a second behind me because of that slowdown. He is a second behind me because of that slowdown. Highly unlikely, unless I make a massive mistake going into this last turn, that he's going to be able to catch me. So I take it cautiously.
I don't get why he swerved over to the left.
Accelerate out of that straight towards the wall, make my turn. I can even go a little wider. I see how they're going wider. And I cross the finish line less than a second ahead of Rodolfo. Great race, though. Great race. I was really pushed the whole time, but I was also really happy with my performance. I would have been happier if I hadn't gotten in the accident. I'm curious where things would have wound up at that point. But let's see what that did, because, again, our focus here is no longer on safety rating. Not that we don't want to race safely, but our focus here is on iRating and getting results there. So looking at this, I gained 30 iRating, not too bad, because of the accident and because my my number is high. Like I'm almost to a 4. I think getting 5 incident points, which is what I got. As we scroll down here, we can see, 5 incident points. I think that balanced out, and so I get no safety rating, nor a hit on the safety rating. But the great news is I finished 9th. I finished 9th position after starting 12th. My fastest lap was a 2:04.064, which is the fastest lap I've ever set on this track. And so learned a lot about where my weaknesses are, and now I need to figure out how do I overcome those weaknesses. I end about 34 seconds behind the leader, who quite frankly was setting laps of 202s and 204s on average. So yeah, I mean, way behind Nico here. But look, overall, not too shabby as far as splits. I'm down in the, I'm in eighth out of 11, so about the bottom third of the splits. But again, as this number goes up, the iRating number goes up, I'm going to find myself climbing the splits and facing tougher and tougher opponents. So what worked here won't necessarily work there. So anyway, race number 2 at Sebring International Speedway. Pretty good result overall. Pretty happy with that. And yeah, so we'll see what happens in race number 3.